about to eat breakfast and head off to TAFE, but I thought I would start the vlog off. This is my outfit. Just wearing some satin pants, some glasses, a beige top from Witchery, and this knit I got from at Kmart. Alright guys, I'm off. These sunglasses are like disgusting, but they're so good. I don't know. That's my vibe I get from them. Anyway, I'm running late to my second day of TAFE, which is just great. So something I do. I am off. Anyway, I will update later on. See where I'll probably update at lunch, or like I'll try film in class. I'm in the bathroom. Just had one tea, so I'm about to go back and I'll update later. Okay guys, update. I'm trying to work out what to wear for tonight because it's so cold outside. So I'm like, I want to look cute and comfy, but I don't want to look like I'm trying. Okay, so this is the other option. I don't know. I think I like the first one. I feel like this is cute for a dinner. I don't know. Or I've got like some silk pants. I'm going to try a couple of things. I'll get back to you when I decide what I want to do. Alright, so the first thing that I do is I cleanse my face with the Garnier Micellar water just to remove any impurities, any oils and leftover product that may be on my skin. Now for primer, I'm using the Embryolisse Creme. I love it. Makeup by RL uses it on his clients, so I definitely had to go buy that one. So I just put it all over my face. You really want to work it into the skin, as this is my primer. This is the hydration. This is the base. Put it all down the neck, especially in those little crevices. Underneath my eyes, I get quite dry and a lot of creasing, so I've definitely put a lot more around there as well. Yeah, and really work it into the skin because this is the base. Alright, next I'm going in with the NARS foundation. I put it on the back of my hand and I use a brush to blend it in. I like to start on the outside of my face and blend inwards towards the center, as the outside of your face can hold more product. So that's where I usually have the brush make the first contact with the face. And you just kind of blend it in from there. You kind of get started and then you can kind of just work around your face. Again, I'm really tapping in on my face. Along the neck, you can kind of swipe and swirl a bit, but I usually just tap around my face because I find that's where I hold more product. But yeah, so you just want to really tap it in. I prefer using a brush over a beauty blender, as I find the beauty blender picks up a lot of product, so you're not getting everything on the skin, whereas the brush is a lot more controlled. So yeah, as you can see, I'm really just tapping in. You almost got to overblend a lot just to really get a nice smooth base. I do find though sometimes my foundation can look a little bit like not cakey, but have a weird, not a completely airbrush look, and that is completely normal. Next, I'm going in with my Hourglass concealer. I absolutely love it. It is so just beautiful, the consistency. It's really full coverage. I honestly did not need as much as I put on. You'll see later on why. But she was brand new, so I was like, I might as well use a lot of her. I'm just drying that a bit. Then I blend it in using a brush. I don't completely blend it in though. I just like tap it out and almost warm it back up on the skin because it's dried up a bit. But yeah, I find it does take a while if I use a brush. As you can see, I'm singing. But yeah, I'm just blending that all in. That's how I like to apply my concealer because I feel like it gives my face a lifted look while also giving a lot of coverage. I'm not really one to do the full triangle under the eyes, but yeah. As you can see, I'm just tapping that in. I like to bring my concealer all over my eyelids, so covering the full eye. Now I'm just going with my foundation brush and just blending over that concealer. I don't know why I do this. Sometimes I do it to neutralize it out if the concealer is a bit brighter. I don't always do this. It's just kind of something I've started doing recently. And now I go in with my beauty blender and really blend it all in, getting under the eyes. Okay, now I'm going in with the LYS Contour Bronzer Stick, and I just put it on the back of my hand, and I take a brush and I press the brush into my hand and to warm it up again, the product, and then I apply it onto my cheekbone just above it, and I'm pressing it in. Do not swell it in, because that is when you're going to get muddiness and it is just going to mess up the whole rest of your makeup. So as you can see, I am pressing it into the shadow of my cheekbone. That's why I've got my face on this angle, because I'm trying to see my shadow. But yeah, I start on my cheekbones and work the product up from there, so I'm not like taking heaps. I also really like a nice bronze cheekbone. But yeah, as you can see, I'm really blending that in just beside my eyebrow. Really, I like to blend my cream bronzer into my eye, on my eyelid as well, and almost into my eyebrow, because it just kind of makes everything look nice and blended together. And I don't know, I like to have a little bit of colour on my eyelid. As you can see, I've got my head tilted again, just trying to see the angle of my shadow or whatever it is on my cheekbone. And I really take my time doing this. I don't rush it. I really tap, tap, tap. I like to just tap it on the side of my nose, just around my nose. I don't really go too crazy with it. Now I'm doing cream blush. I'm using the Patrick Tar one, and I'm just smiling just so I can put the blush on the apples of my cheeks. My friends always say I look psycho when I do this, but promise you it works. I like to really push the product up right under my eyes, as it helps to really lift the face and blend everything together. Now, before I bake my under eyes, I always like to go over the concealer. And then what I do is I'm setting my under eyes. So I like to put the Huda Beauty powder just on my hand and tap away any excess, and then press into where I've concealed. So around my eyes, I always start there because that's where I crease. And then just kind of pat around any other areas where I'd like to set. I don't go over my cream contour. I just go mainly where I've concealed, and then I go in and bake. So as you can see, I'm just baking under my eyes right now, and then I might just do a little bit on my forehead. I don't stress too much about it, especially if there is going to be a flash photo shoot happening. Now I am setting my cream bronzer with my powder bronzer. So I'm using the Patrick Tar bronzer, and I'm just really pressing that in. As you can see, I do not swipe, because that is how you're going to get muddy makeup, and I'm really pressing it in. I like to start on my forehead this time for some reason. I don't know. That's just like the pattern that I work with. But yeah, as you can see, I'm really working that in. I've obviously cut this video down a lot, but I actually take a really long time blending this in. So as you can see, I'm working again in the shadows of my cheekbones and just really pressing that in, because this is the base and I want to look bronzed. I always like to use two bronzers. I usually use a cool tone one to help contour and really help with the shape of my face, and then I use a more orangey one, as you can see here, to give me more of that bronze look. So for that, I am using the Kosas bronzer. I'll link everything down below, but as you can see, I'm just going over the bronzer I've already put on, and again, tapping, pressing, no swiping and swirling, because that is what is going to fuck your makeup up. But yeah, I'm really tapping that in, tapping over where I cream contoured, getting those angles as you can see, and really pressing that into my hairline as well, because you don't want to take your hair out and have like a white hairline and then just like a line of darkness from the bronzer. But yeah, I just keep going over and over. It takes me a long time doing this part, but for me, that's how I'm going to get the best bronzer look without looking over bronzed and without looking like I have bronzer blindness. I also like to put it over my eyelid just so I can have a bit of color there. And I also blend it into my eyebrow a bit, just because I feel like it helps bring all the colors together really nicely. Now I'm going in with the matching blush to the cream blush, and I am just putting that over the top of the cream blush and putting on the apples of my cheeks, getting it right up underneath my eye, just so I can get that nice lifted look. Then I'm going to go in with a powder puff and just blend just on the side of that blush, just in case there's any bits that have kind of gone a bit crazy. Now I am doing my eyeliner. I use a eyeshadow, like a dark black and brown eyeshadow. And I kind of painted on and draw it on myself. This is probably my least favorite part of my makeup, just because it takes so long to get it perfect, and sometimes my eyes look more up, sometimes they look more down. I don't know, it's definitely a process that takes a while, as you can see. I cut it down, but it took me a while. I just fixed up using my fingernail. Now I'm going in with the mascara. I'll link it down below, I forgot the name, but I look down when I do my mascara, so I get it right at the root and it gives me a really nice lifted, voluminous look. I mainly keep my mascara on the outwards of my eyes and put a little bit on the inside, because it's actually crazy the difference mascara can make to the shape of your eye. Now I'm just baking up beside my eyeliner. This helps to give my face a nice lifted look. It helps to really, sink in that eyeliner, and the colour can actually leave an impression on your skin and your makeup. I just add a little bit more powder there, and then I'm going in with my white eyeliner on my eye waterline, I think that's what it's called. I recently started doing this and I really like doing it, as I feel like it makes my eye pop. And then I'm taking some more powder bronzer and just bronzing up the sides again, because sometimes when I'm playing around with my eyeliner it can affect it. Then I just take the powder puff and just press underneath my contour with some powder. I'm not actually baking it or anything. And then I'm just going over again with my blush just to get right under the eye, just to touch it up if I need to. As you can see, it's kind of swiping away the baking powder, but it doesn't really matter. As you can see, it's given my face a really nice lifted look. Now I'm just pressing in that powder. I'm not swiping it or anything, just pressing it all in. Wow, she's looking gorge. Now I'm just going in with my bronzer, the cool toned one, and I'm just going over my jawline just to give a little bit of a snatching and just joining all of the contour together. I also go down the neck like that. I learned that from JLo's makeup artist, and really blending in that neck. We don't want any signs that we've got makeup on. Joking, you can clearly tell I do, but whatever. Now I'm going in with highlighter. This is the Dior highlighter, I'll link it down below. Just go swipe over the nose, and then I'm going in with some nose contour. This is just using that contour that I used before, and I literally just go crazy with it using an eyeshadow brush, and I blend it into my eye as well, into those little bits there. As you can see, I like to do nose contour because I feel like it brings the whole look together. Makes me look nice and glamorous, all done up. Just touching up my bronzer again. I honestly just touched it up throughout it, but as you can see, I'm tapping it. I feel like that's the key, is the tapping, the pressing in. Not enough people do it, and it actually kills me seeing people that swipe their bronzer, because I don't know how it looks good. And then I'm taking powder foundation. This is the MAC one. I'll link it down below, and I put it on a brush and I just pat it in where I've done concealer, and this just helps blend everything together. It gives me a bit more coverage if I need it. It just smooths everything out really nicely. Doing my lip liner. This is the Makeup Forever one. Don't know how I'm going to explain this. I feel like you just gotta know your lips well, and so I know my lips well. So I always either line the bottom or the top and then put my lips together, because it almost imprints a line on your bottom lip, making it easier to do your lip liner. But yeah, I always think it's good to have a lip liner that's really pigmented and easy to work with, because if you have a lip liner and it's really dry and doesn't swipe on the skin easy, it's going to make it so much harder to just get that perfect lip look that you want. So I love that about the Makeup Forever lip liner. It's really smooth and buttery and just perfect to put on the lips. So the next thing I'm going to do is I put a bit of concealer on my lips. So I'd actually use a lot less than this. As you can see, I learned the hard way, but I find putting concealer on my lips helps to lighten up my lip color, as you can see, and get it to a nice color that I like. It kind of mattifies it. I kind of had to keep going over with lip liner, blending it, and then going over again because I kept fucking it up, but got there in the end. Then I just go in with my powder puff and just use whatever's left with the powder and pat over my lips. And then I go in with the Infallible setting spray, really spray that in. And then I go in with some hairspray and spray that over the top. Love hairspray for a night out. I find it helps hold everything perfectly. And then I'm just going to take out my hair, take out them rollers. And then I'm just going to brush them out using a wide tooth comb. I flip my hair over, as you can see, so I'm not in the frame. And then I just kind of brush it and I get it to where I want it to be. It's obviously a bit crazy now. It'll drop down a bit. But yeah, she's looking gorgeous. She's looking great. She's ready to go out, hit the town. Look at her go. Oh my God. That is it. I hope you enjoy. Hey, vlog!
Hey. We got a park and now we're going Bluff.
We got a park and we're about to go into Bluff.
Yes.
We're about to go into Bluff. We'll update you when we're dancing inside, when we're not looking crazy like last time. Cheers, guys.
No, I did a model photo
Mia, cheers.
Yep, cheers.
Kimberly, cheers. Georgia, cheers. And
Anonymous.
Update.
update, guys.
Update. We're just waiting in the line. It's raining.
So we're covering our hair. With Bailey. And with Lauren. Say hi.
Hello. Bailey's winning.
Say hi. Hey guys, it is Monday. I am just going to the post office to pick up a very exciting package. So basically, Stussy Baby and Victoria Villarreal, I don't know if you guys know them, they're like the OG baddies, OG Instagram baddies. They have a podcast. They had a thing called Baddie to Baddie where you can send in a question through a voice note, and I sent one in. I did not think they would reply. But I was like on the podcast, like my voice, and like on the promotion, like on Instagram. My voice and my name's on it. So if you're wondering what I said, you can go watch it. It's actually a really good episode. I asked like how they take good photos, and they said like, they gave some really good tips. You need to go watch it to see. But anyway, what I was getting to was that they were like, oh, we'll send you a digicam. Stussy said she'll send me a digicam. So I'm going to pick that up. She sent me a vintage digital camera. I got it, guys. I'm actually like, I'm so excited. Guys, oh my God. Here's a better look at it. Look at the quality. It feels so nice in my hand. I'm obsessed.